Hello, hi, Sarah from the Upcoming. Such a pleasure to have you here with us in London. A difficult one to describe, but if you were going to tell someone what they can expect coming in to watch Harvest, what would you say?
I would say it's a film that tackles some of the biggest topics that we're having to face at the moment. I think it tackles humanity and where do we go now. The sort of unknown of people that might be displaced or people that might have to move lands because of violence. I think it's about that, but it's also about the beauty of nature and how do we preserve something that's like disappearing, and maybe not disappearing, but we're cherishing something, in the lands.
And I understand it was an adaptation of a book. Like, did you ever read the book, or what jumped out to you about Athena's script when you first read it?
Yeah, I read it 3 times. Athena sent it to me about 3 years before we started filming. So I'd worked with her in trigonometry, and she'd read this, and she sent it to me in the post and said, read this, with the idea of playing Beldam. So I knew when I read it that I might have to cut all my hair off. So I've read it many times. I love Jim Crace's writing. I've read some of his other books. He's got an amazing writer because I think he encapsulates the humour in human beings at the most traumatic times really perfectly.
And I think when you watch the film, you feel like you're there in the mud. You feel like you're there at the golden hour looking at the rolling hills. Like, it captures both sort of the brutality and the beauty of living in a place like this. What was it like being on that shoot?
There were some oddly magical moments that came at the most visceral points. I think there was this huge sunset on the last scene of the film that I thought everyone's going to think this is CGI, but it was just like the gods opened up the skies and it all came through. Also, it flooded on the very last week, which was also like the water gods saying, you've taken enough from us now. But the land was introduced to us by a lot of the villagers who lived in Oban, because you had all these amazing actors. They've become actors now who had never been behind a camera or in front of a camera before. And I think being introduced to Oban by people from there was just such a magical thing. And they didn't have to do anything. They were just in their land, and it felt like completely upstaged by their brilliant performances.
And of course, your character's such an outsider and has some sort of like quite epic scenes. I mean, one, I don't want to give any spoilers. There's really quite a shocking one. What was it like perhaps going to some of those, more extreme places with this character?
I mean, I trust Arinze to the ends of the earth. If you're thinking about the same scene that I'm thinking about, I think Athena's been so clever and very brave with making sure that characters who are the outsiders or the others that often get portrayed as someone that have to be quite calm about the sufferance that have gone through, to actually show their anger and show their pain. And I think that scene is definitely evoking how much she can't take any of it anymore, and it humanizes her as a black person in a land full of like locals. And I think that was just really important to me, that there is danger and there's anger there that shouldn't be hidden.
And in terms of the takeaways, you obviously can be going on this journey, being immersed in this place, but you can come away with questions about capitalism, about patriarchal society, about racial issues. What do you hope that people will be thinking about when they watch the film?
All of those things. And also I think the big question that leaves me at the end is, how are the villagers going to be treated next? And I think are we treating people how we're going to be treated if we have to leave, or are people on the move? My partner works for Sea-Watch, which is civil rescue in the Mediterranean, and we was actually out there whilst we were rehearsing the scene where I land on a boat, and it just felt so real and so important to be talking about these subjects. But I think Athena's managed to meld them and knit them together so that it's in the everyday, and we shouldn't forget that. It's in absolutely every moment of our lives and our responsibilities for it, I think.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Really enjoyed the night. Congratulations on the film. Thanks a lot.